I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 438 of the Hoots Podcast. This is your truly the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez, here on this Friday, November 8th, 2024, here in my recording room in Chicago, Illinois. Hope each and every single one of you are in good spirits. Please do me a favor and make sure to follow the podcast on Spotify. Make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. That'd be deeply appreciated. I don't have too much to update you guys on. Personally, this has been a very, very draining week for me. Also a week that's been taking a big hit on my self-confidence. So it's been one of those weeks where, like, I don't know what else to do at this point. I don't know, like, what it is that I need to do to find that's going to make me happy, because it seems as if I'm trying to do right by the people, like, that say that care about me, but it's not enough, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a lot of reassurance in my life right now, and it kind of sucks. So, yeah, it's one of those weeks. I don't know if any of you suffer with self-doubt, but I think it's very important to remind yourself that, hey, you got you, and you have the ability to adapt, and never let anybody tell you different. Like, you can adapt from any situation, and I think it's very important to keep a level head and just appreciate what's in front of you, and know that you have value. You are worth something, and if nobody can acknowledge that or appreciate that, then that's a them problem and not a you problem. Definitely, it never feels great to be pushed aside or disregarded by people who claim to be your friends or family or whatever the situation is. And I'm not going to give any hints to what's going on with me, but it sucks. And it's been a big hit to my self-confidence, and it's rather unfortunate, you know, but there's only so much I can do. I feel like I do right by people, I'm honest with people, but sometimes that's not either reciprocated or, you know, brought back in return, and it just sucks. So, anyways, I don't want to bore you guys with my personal life. Besides that, I've been keeping busy with the shop. I'm still doing my walks, in case anybody's wondering. I'm very close for hitting my goal that I wanted to do this year, which was 4 million steps. Right now, I'm at 3,758,000 steps, and I'm very close to hitting my goals. So that's been really cool doing that, and yeah, I'm still keeping busy with the articles and everything. The wrestling business never slows down. This month of November is going to be pretty busy. I just did Crown Jewel this past Saturday, which we'll talk about on the podcast this week. We got War Games Survivor Series in Vancouver at the end of the month. They announced that NXT Deadline will be taking place on December 7th in Minneapolis, which is the Saturday show, which I think is kind of cool. I know usually NXT does these pay-per-views on a Sunday, but it's gonna be pretty nice just to lay low and watch football and relax on a Sunday. So, besides that, I'm just keeping busy and keeping the main thing. You know, trying my best to adapt through these situations as I'm in the process of moving out of Chicago, and you know, there's only so much I can put energy to things that I have no control over, and especially in the case of people who say that they care about me, but their actions say otherwise. So, all that being said, hope you all have good spirits. make sure to support my work. Make sure to follow the podcast on Spotify. It really helps expand the reach of the show. Also, if you can do me this favor, please make sure to follow my work at WrestlingHeadlines.com. That'd be deeply appreciated. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can at the Hoots Podcast, and I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. All right, all that being said, that's pretty much it for the monologue this week. Let's get into this week in WWE, and then we'll answer your questions in the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 438 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 438 of the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE as we recap Crown Jewel and go over the week of wrestling that was. As always, if you ever want to follow my play-by-play transcripts of these wrestling shows that I do each and every single week, you can make sure to do it at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Not too much to add for SmackDown from the previous week because it was a taped show. There was a nice little interaction with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, which I thought was nice. Enjoyed the match with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton against Imperium. That was a fun match. But nothing too big takeaways from SmackDown from last week. I think you want to hear what I have to say about Crown Jewel this week. And this, for those who are listening, this might be an abbreviated edition of the podcast this week, but I got a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm gonna try to make sure that I make this show enjoyable for you. So let's go over Crown Jewel and my takeaways from the show, and I'll tell you what, man. It's been pretty cool to see like kind of the streak that I'm on when it comes to like giving out these transcripts, and we have a grading scale when it comes to the articles that we do. Is called SEO. So anybody that uses WordPress and they do like big time articles and stuff like that, or anybody who does play-by-play articles, you may understand what I'm talking about. So basically, it's under an SEO program. It's under a tab of Yoast, which basically means that if your score with the color that they give you for SEO is on the upper echelon of green, that means your article is going to be ranked pretty high, basically, on the Google search engines. It's I wouldn't say it's a cheat code, but it's a way to make sure that your articles stand out. It's an indication that your article's good, that you're finding the guidelines. And now that I've been doing these type of pieces for almost 11 years now, I certainly have found a good formula and routine when it comes to formatting my outlines and how I go about transcribing the shows in general. I do it a little unorthodox than everybody else. A lot of people like to summarize certain things and not actually give you the full context. I leave no stone unturned when it comes to like transcribing these shows. I give you my entire heart and soul. I put thought into it. Even the TV shows, I'll write down the entire promo in its entirety. So there's no context left for confusion. I'm not perfect. I don't. When I make these transcripts, I'm not trying to act as if I know everything that's going on in the ring and stuff like that. I'm still learning stuff every single week. I try my best to pay respect to the performers when it comes to the play-by-play aspect of the articles that I do. When it comes to like typing out the sequences and everything. Definitely not doing star ratings. Definitely not pointing out botches or anything like that. I have the utmost respect for the men and women who bust their ass and put their bodies on the line for us. So the methods behind my transcripts are really twofold. I'm paying respect to the performers. I'm challenging myself to have the best coverage out there. And thirdly, and most importantly, I'm having this as a point of reference for anybody who doesn't have time to watch the shows or don't have the money to pay for Peacock, or in general. If you don't have the money or time to catch up with the product, I want you to follow along with my work, and I can keep you updated with what's going on. So I hope in any way, if anybody that's seen my work over the years can give you, I hope in any way that my transcripts in a way have provided kind of like a theater of the mind thing. As you're reading my transcript, I hope it comes out visually in your mind of what's happening, and that's my ultimate goal. And I hope in some way, somehow over the past decade or so, I've done right by you guys, the fans, the wrestling universe. Whether you're a WWE fan or AEW fan or just a general pro wrestling fan, I hope that my coverage has been done right and justifiable to you guys, because it's not easy work, and I put a lot of pride and effort into these pieces, and it's pretty cool. So, like, what I was about to say about the SEO stuff is that, like, if you get a green SEO score, it's the best. It's the best to get. It's the best feeling to get, because you know that your article is good and you're gonna get ranked really high on Google, and that's very important to me. So I've been on a hot streak, and usually when it comes to like the regular TV shows, I would get like green scores for Raw and SmackDown, because a lot of it's more typing out dialogue than just typing out so reverse Irish whip, clothesline, body slam, this person body slam this guy, 2 count, it's not just match recaps. So I can understand a little bit why I get the green SEO scores for the TV shows. But when it came to like the PLEs and stuff, it took me a while to figure out the right formula to use when it came to trying to get that green SEO score for the pay-per-views. Because, okay, now I'm covering a show that's just strictly matches. There's no promos on the show. So it's a little different of a process, and it's a different type of challenge. So I feel it's even more rewarding when I get a green SEO score when I'm doing the pay-per-views. And I got one for Crown Jewel this past Saturday, and it was a very, very good feeling. I had one for Bad Blood too in October. And it's very, very rewarding. I take a lot of pride in the work that I put out there, and I want these transcripts to be the best in the world. So, I've been on a little bit of a hot streak. I think we're almost at 2 full months straight with green SEO scores. And I just hope we can continue the momentum as we wrap up 2024. So I just want to give you a little behind-the-scenes aspect of what I've been doing with my articles and everything. With what's up with that. Crown Jewel in itself, I had a good time covering the show. Nothing really perturbed me or got me, upset or anything like that. I know there was some debates about how the Bloodline against the OG match felt, or how it was laid out or whatever. Some people said it fell flat, or I don't know. Sometimes we should not be using X as a barometer of what's over or what's not over during these shows. I know it's the most convenient platform to use to engage and discuss as the show's happening, but you're getting so much jargon and just noise and just nonsense of takes that's not genuine. It has no substance or context attached to it, and it's just wasted energy. So the last thing that I'll go to see if a show's good or not is using X, because hell no. It'll just be led astray. But I enjoyed the Bloodline match. I was genuinely surprised that they went with that one as the first match of the show. Maybe that kind of threw people off guard, but given everything that happened, then Sami Zayn gets involved after Solo got the victory on Roman with those 2 small spikes. Sami comes out to help out Jey Uso. It's like gang warfare. All hell's breaking loose in Riyadh, and Solo gets caught in a trap, basically. Reigns is getting ready to drop him with a Superman punch. Right as he starts running towards Solo, Sami accidentally hits him with the Haluva kick. That starts getting attention with him and Jimmy Uso. That allowed Solo to leave the ring, and you leave with more questions than answers. And guess what? We got the answers on Raw. And now there might be something going on tonight on SmackDown. Will there be a full reconciliation with the OG Bloodline? And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match. I don't know. People are saying that the match was sloppy or whatever. I always love seeing those things that a match was sloppy. How the hell can you tell the difference if a match is sloppy or not if you've never been in the ring? I'm not going to put in my transcript that a match was sloppy or all over the place or convoluted or every these weird buzzwords that you keep hearing on these wrestling talk shows and stuff. I think we dumb ourselves out of position when it comes to like the analyzation of the business because we keep acting as if we know everything that's supposed to look right and not look right, and I think we just find ourselves talking in circles, and it's kind of ridiculous. I'll tell you what, man, the evolution of how the women have been presented on these PLEs in Saudi Arabia has been something to be acknowledged, and I think Triple H deserves a lot of credit for it, and especially the quality of the matches that we've been getting for the women on these particular shows have been fantastic. Look, I don't know about you. I don't know if you feel like this is a hot take or not, but Liv Morgan is the best female professional wrestler in the world. I think she's the best character, female-wise, in the business right now. And she's doing her best work. And obviously, Waterfall is good Waterfall. But that's like the least thing that stands out to me when it comes to Liv Morgan. She's on another level, and she's fantastic. So I just want to give her props. She became the first women's crown jewel champion. And she's killing it on all cylinders. I know a lot of people say that Drew McIntyre is a MVP candidate for WWE in 2024, but I think Liv Morgan deserves just as much recognition in not only that category, but women's MVP for 2024 as well, because Liv Morgan is just on another level right now. But I also want to give a shout out to the ladies in the women's tag team match. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill retained over Damage Control, Metaphor, who I thought had a very impressive showing in the match, and Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Fun four-way match that was cool. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed was one of my other favorite matches from Crown Jewel this past Saturday. I like the flow and the layout of their match. Seth Rollins did get a victory, but as we saw on Monday, this thing is far, far from finished between these two. So I like what I saw with Seth and Bronson, and it's cool. Bronson Reed is getting elevated to the next level, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty inevitable soon that Tiffany Stratton will become your new WWE Women's Champion. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when at this point. It could happen tonight on SmackDown. It could happen at Survivor Series. It could happen anytime. I think it's inevitable that Tiffany Stratton will become your new Women's Champion. Let's talk about Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. This is one I was looking forward to a lot heading into this PLE. Not expecting a clean finish or a clear definitive winner in this match either. This was not a match. It was just a pure six brawl. Everybody and their mothers getting attacked. Officials, referees. Adam Pearce took an RKO from Randy Orton. It was just awesome. They start fighting in the crowd. Owens decides to put Randy through one of the production tables with a flying elbow drop off the guard railings at that Muhammad Abdul Arena. That was a lot of fun. So that was pretty cool. I'll tell you what, in a tough spot to follow the chaos that was Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. And by the way, last thing I want to add to this Kevin Owens thing. I would not be surprised if Kevin gets his shot at the WWE Championship at Survivor Series in Vancouver. I would not be surprised. Give Randy this month off to relax and heal, and I think Kevin will fight Cody at Survivor Series. That's my prediction. Let's continue on here. We had LA Knight retaining over Carmelo Hayes and Andrade El Idolo for United States Championship. This match was very short, but I thought it was very good and effective for what it was, and I liked the fact that as Hayes was going for this like a little spinning La Mystica thing that Tashi Ishimori usually does. It's like a tilt-a-whirl face buster, basically. And as he was doing that to Andrade, LA Knight snuck in with a double BFT to get the victory. So I thought it was pretty cool. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but just how the match was laid out, and even though it was a shorter match, it kind of reminded me in a way of the match I saw in person at WrestleMania 22 with Rey Mysterio winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Kurt Angle and Randy Orton. That's how this match felt to me, just with the layout and how it wasn't a long match. It's in a tough spot on the card as it is, and I thought all three guys made the best out of it, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of other matches that stood out to me for program this week, I thought Sheamus, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio, the four-way number one contenders match on Raw was really good. So shout out to those guys. Damian Priest against Gunther at Survivor Series is fine with me. It poses a really interesting question, though. What does CM Punk do when he comes back? Is CM Punk just taking the rest of the year off and he's not going to pop up till the Netflix show? What's going to happen with CM Punk? We haven't heard from Drew McIntyre. I doubt that these two just come back and start feuding with each other again after what we saw in Hell in the Cell. So what's going to happen? That's the question. But I'm fine with Priest, taking on Gunther. I think that's a good choice. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Speaking of other matches that stood out to me from Raw this Monday, Dragon Lee and Chad Gable was fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go out of your way to check it. It was pretty damn good. Sooner or later, we got to see some resolution here with this Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston drama. I know they're going to be having a 10-year celebration of the New Day in a couple of weeks, which is pretty cool and well-deserved. New Day is definitely one of the best trio groups of wrestling history. Definitely one of the best tag teams in wrestling history. And this is something where maybe Big E finally shows up on TV and tries to play peacemaker between the two. Or we're going to see the real Xavier Woods show up and turn on Kofi Kingston. So I think we'll get some answers on that. And I like what's been going on Raw. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to that. Not to say that I haven't been enjoying SmackDown or anything like that, but outside the Bloodline and Cody stuff, there's not too much to chew on. Obviously, we know that the Mercy Machine Guns will be on the Grayson Waller Effect tonight on SmackDown. I don't know if any matches have been announced yet as I'm recording this, but it is a SmackDown following Crown Jewel. Definitely interested to see the interaction with Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn follow the segment that we saw with them on Monday. Will the OG Bloodline start feeling oozy again? That's a question to look out for. But all in all, I'm curious to see what happened on SmackDown. But if you ask my honest opinion, I've definitely been vibing more with Monday Night Raw than in the past couple weeks. And I know there's been a conversation about, having Raw and SmackDown both potentially being 3 hours each and every single week. It might be difficult for some other people, but for me, I'm not going to complain about it. For obvious reasons, I don't have to tell you why. But we'll see how that goes, one thing at a time. I did see the announcement today that the Elimination Chamber in 2025 will be taking place at the Rogers Center, formerly known as the Sky Dome, on March 1st, 2025 in Toronto. I think it's pretty cool. I know John Cena said that the Elimination Chamber will be his last Elimination Chamber, so we're going to be seeing a lot of John Cena soon, and I'm very excited for that. John Cena is going to bring a lot of energy to these shows, especially the first string of couple shows on Netflix. I think 2025 is going to be a very big year, not only for WWE, but the wrestling business as a whole, and I also think for content creators like myself. It's gonna be a very big year, and I'm very excited for it. Let me talk about Cody and Gunther. I think that's probably the best match I covered this week outside of that 4-way. Cody and Gunther could fight 100 times, and I'll enjoy it each and every single time. I know there wasn't some clean, decisive finish in the match, but I think what we got on Saturday was a little bit of an appetizer of what we can get with Cody and Gunther whenever they do decide to have an actual feud with each other down the road. think about it. Cody's now cost Gunther 2 Royal Rumbles and cost him the first opportunity at the Crown Jewel Championship. That's going to be tied into a story down the road. It makes sense. Cody is the right pick for this Crown Jewel Championship, and I thought it was a really dope main event, to be honest with you. So all in all, I enjoyed Crown Jewel. Usually some of these Saudi Arabia PLEs are hit and miss, but from my opinion and how I felt transcribing the show, it was a little longer than the most previous editions of these PLEs, but I enjoyed it for the most part, and I thought it was a fun Saturday. So that was my thoughts on Crown Jewel. Let me talk a little bit about the NXT show that took place at the ECW Arena on Wednesday. This is a little different week for me, article-wise, because usually I would do NXT on a Tuesday, but obviously the election was going on, so they decided to do it on Wednesday. No harm, no foul. I want to give all big props to the men and women on the NXT roster who were on that show, made names for themselves, and that NXT show on Wednesday was fucking fun. I had a blast. Just the environment of it in the 2300 arena. I really dig the scaled down production aspect to it. I thought it was pretty cool. Jada Parker and Lola Vice's hardcore match was fantastic. A lot of good nostalgia having RVD in the building, Don Marie, the Dudley boys were there. Devon came down to the ring with a table. Bubba Ray and Trick Williams chokeslam Ethan Page through a table. It was pretty cool, man. I really enjoyed it. And not only that, the fact that here we are, you have an NXT show, right, in the ECW arena. It's not overly littered with hardcore matches and stuff like that. But to think about this, you're in South Philly. You're in the arena that's filled with a lot of like diehard wrestling fans who are probably male, right? But you think about it, you open and close your show with women in both effective segments and matches in itself. I don't think anybody in the industry right now presents women better in 2024 than Shawn Michaels, and I don't think that can be a debate at this point. That 10-woman tag team match that we saw on Wednesday was a lot of fun. It was a fun one for me to transcribe. I still think I would lean Cody and Gunther as the best match of the week, but the main event from Wednesday is definitely up there for me. Definitely in the top 3 matches for sure. But all in all, man, it was a good vibe. Obviously, you get to see Rhino out there too. I thought it was pretty nice. So I hope they do more shows at 2300 Arena. Hopefully, they can do that as a yearly thing. I think that'd be pretty cool, honestly. It was a cool venue. I think it was good stuff for the brand that they start like getting some momentum. Next week, they'll start starting their build for their next PLE, which will be NXT Deadline on Saturday, December 7th. Which will be taking place at my good brother Andrew Baydala's stomping grounds in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And yeah, all in all, folks, that's my thoughts on this week in WWE. When we come back, we'll answer your questions in this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 438 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. All right, guys, one more final segment to do here on the podcast this week. Time to answer your questions in this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's drop the X for the good brother Chris Saletta, 24X on the Twitter machine. Let's see what he has to say this week. What up, Boost? Here's the questions for the Q&A this week. If it was up to you, would you bring PLE sets back? I think for me, this always goes back. If it's good for business, then I'll do it. I'm not one of those fans that crow about the creativity of PLE sets. I know that was a thing of the ruthless aggression era, and a lot of people cling on to that time period. And I enjoyed it as much as anybody else as a kid and a teenager. But also, like, I'm not watching pay-per-views for creative sets. I want to see what's happening in the ring. But I'm a different type of wrestling fan. If it makes sense and it's good for business, then bring them back. But it's not something that like a show's going to be dictated on how I feel based on how the set looks. That's just not me. Your thoughts on AEW and the handling of the Lucha Brothers talent contracts? It's grade A, homogenized, Holstein, TIA, Bankfield bullshit. That's what it is. It's Tony Khan being the Khan of all clans, and there's nothing else to be added to that. Favorite match from Crown Jewel? Cody and Gunther, and then the close second would probably be Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Thoughts on Baron Corbin, Tegan Knox, and Indy Hartwell's departures. Man, it's part of the industry, guys. It sucks. I was really excited for Baron Corbin. He seemed to reinvent himself in NXT. I thought there would be good potential for him to do some different stuff on the roster, but there came to be, and it's part of the industry, man. People are going to come and go. I think Corbin could do a lot of good stuff in TNA if that's something that he would want to do for himself. But, obviously for Tegan Knox and Indy Hartwell, it just never seemed that anything was ever going to happen for those two. So it's unfortunate. Just with any type of releases, I always say that it's unfortunate, and I wish them the best, and I enjoyed covering their work. So it is rather unfortunate, but I wish all three the best for sure. A lot of trades have happened over the last few weeks. Pittsburgh and Washington winners of the trade deadline? Probably. I definitely say the Steelers are the winners of the trade deadline. So that would be my answer to that question. Priest won the number one contenders match. Does this match take place before Survivor Series or at Survivor Series? Well, I think right now, that match will take place at Survivor Series unless something happens where Punk comes back and has a confrontation with Gunther, and that, because the Survivor Series match, I don't know. I think for me, this realistically right now, I just think it's going to lean towards Priest and Gunther at Survivor Series, which is perfectly fine with me. I enjoyed their match at SummerSlam, and I have no doubt these two would have a good match at Survivor Series in Vancouver. Will Liv and Raquel be the ones to take the tag team titles off of Jade and Bianca? That's a good question. I don't know, man. This is one that's kind of up in the air for me because I know their match is coming up on Monday for the women's tag team titles. But here's the deal, Chris. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. You want to make Raquel look strong, right? I could definitely see it happening. I'm not banking on it because I think there also could be a possibility that Damage Control comes out and costs Liv and Raquel the titles. Since Io's the number one contender now for the Women's World Championship. That's something to keep your eye on, but I would not be surprised. Because here's the deal. One way or another, whoever takes the titles away from Jade and Bianca, it's not going to be on their own doing. It's going to be the fact that either Bianca or Jade decide to stab the other in the back. That's what's going to happen. So it's something to look out for sure. Who should be in the field for both men's and women's Iron Survivor matches? What a great question. So I think they do 5, right? 5 or 6. Alright, I'll do this for the dudes. Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Wesley, Ethan Page, and Ridge Holland. For the ladies, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and Zarya. So there you go. Trick, Wes, Javon, Ethan Page, and Ridge Holland. We'll go through Roxanne, Cora Jade, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and Zarya. Those are my 5 for the men's and women's Iron Survivor matches. And on that note, we're going to put a ribbon on the bow on this week's edition of the podcast at Hoots. No. If you guys had any takeaways, good, bad, or different from Crown Jewel, or anything that stood out to you for this week's programming from WWE, love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below on YouTube. As you're doing that, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Definitely want to get one of those cool YouTube plaques, so help a brother out, man. Most importantly, more than anything else, follow the show on Spotify. That's the best way to help this podcast grow and continue to be what it is. So follow the show on Spotify. Share the Spotify links to your friends that enjoy wrestling and stuff like that. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Reach out to me. Let me know what you like or dislike for the podcast this week. I'm always open to constructive criticism. And I'd love to hear from you guys. You can hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. As always, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 438 of the Hoots Podcast as the road to episode 500 continues. Have a wonderful weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Hey.
Bye-bye, bitch.